Apparently, the start of the video should be the most interesting part, so let's jump right in. Here we've got the Durofix Stubby impact wrench with a 5Ah battery and a Parkside Performance high torque impact wrench running a fully charged 4Ah pack. The Parkside has 3 power modes and I've got 3 M20 nuts, so you already know where this is going. Nut number 1 is starting for about 6 seconds on mode 1. Nut number 2, 5 seconds on mode 2, which according to Parkside should be about 400 newton meters. And nut number 3, well, that survived a full 10 seconds on mode 3, which Parkside claims should deliver a maximum of 1,300 newton meters. And I'm not saying it actually hit that number, but the nuts on there pretty tight. Now, watch this, and you'll see why Durofix has won me over as my go-to 12-volt platform. On full power with a freshly charged battery, nuts 1 and 2 didn't even put up a fight. They were off instantly. But nut number 3, well, that's the moment that shocked me. I mean, come on. I did a test myself and even I wasn't expecting this. You might notice the LEDs flickering on the Durofix, and I've already reported that to them, and I should have an answer on that soon. In the meantime, drop your guess in the comments on what you think is causing that. In a couple of recent posts, I mentioned that Christmas came early for me, and this is what I meant. Durofix sent over a bunch of their G12 series tools for me to test out. So, there is a lot to go through. First up, their Combi Dual Driver, a compact, brushless tool that's supposed to pack a serious punch thanks to its 50 Nm claim. It's got the usual 2 speeds, a hammer drilling mode, a regular drilling mode, and a screw driving mode. And the feedback from both the mode selector and the torque ring is absolutely excellent. It's really crisp and positive. Another nice thing about the G12 series from Durofix is the fact that the tools don't just take Durofix G12 batteries, they also accept AC Delco's G12 packs. They also sent me their G12 fast charger. These tools are designed for both DIYers and professionals, so while a DIYer might be fine with the standard charger, someone using these all day long definitely needs something quicker. This one is a 4A charger with active cooling, and it's surprisingly quiet compared to the Parkside stuff I'm used to. Along with it came their 5Ah battery, which is currently the largest capacity one in the G12 lineup, and it's the one I used at the start of the video with the impact wrench. Now, I did say this platform won me over, so this isn't just a basic review. I actually spent my own money on Durofix tools as well. Besides extra batteries, I picked up this LED torch so I can round out my Durofix G12 automotive toolkit. And finally, we have this 3-inch cutoff tool. They sent it because they thought it might make my life easier when I eventually have to cut up my friend's Peugeot for scrap. That might sound harsh, but let's be honest, that's the only journey that Peugeot is ever guaranteed to finish. In the box you get 3 blades, so you're covered for metal, plastic, wood and even tiles out of the box. And I want to start testing with this one because it just feels so ergonomically pleasing in the hand that I just can't help myself. First up, I installed a disc for plastic and wood. I spotted a PVC pipe and I figured I'd cut it up before anyone else asked for it. And well, what can I say? It slices through it like a hot knife through butter. And even without charging the battery first, larger diameter pipes are still no problem. PVC is clearly no challenge for this tool. So let's move on, shall we? Next, let's bring in my other cutoff tool, which is the Parkside Performance 12-volt one, with a freshly charged 5Ah battery. Now, keep in mind that the Parkside and the on-sale Durofix are dangerously close when it comes to price. Out goes the plastic cutting disc, and in goes the metal cutting disc now. I started with what I think is a 6mm metal rebar to warm it up, and at first I handled it like I do my Parkside, but I quickly realized that the Durofix can handle a lot more. And so when I pressed it a bit more, turns out it can cut even faster. The Parkside isn't bad, it's just a bit slower and the handle is slightly thicker, which doesn't seem like a big deal until you switch back and forth and realize just how much comfortable the smaller Durofix is. Next, I tried a 10mm metal rod. Starting with the Parkside after a Durofix was a bit of a struggle. It just can't handle the same pressure, and you need a soft touch and some more finesse even with a 5Ah battery. Push it too hard and it stalls. The Durofix, on the other hand, keeps going even when forced into the material. It just doesn't seem to notice the difference between this and the smaller diameter rebar from earlier. And side by side, the difference is more than clear. A few cuts here and there, and the time savings add up. So, that's why I've got my new cutoff tool. The Durofix combines better ergonomics with more power. The Parkside used to be very good for my needs, but now I know what excellent looks like. And before anyone gets angry in the comments, please remember that I push this Durofix stuff hard behind the scenes. Harder than most would imagine. A tool like this isn't meant to cut through a 5 to 6mm metal plate, but I did it anyway, because I wanted to see if it would overheat and what would happen when pushed beyond its limits. Well, it turns out that, as expected, it's a very power-hungry tool. But it has built-in overload protection, so if it hits its limits, it pauses briefly and then you can continue cutting after a couple of seconds. And it's nice to know that in an emergency, this could replace my larger angle grinder. Now it's time to charge this battery, and since cutting tiles doesn't need much power, we can try using the smallest one. I don't usually cut tiles, but why not give it a go, right? So there we have it. No complaints about this tool at all. I know it's a free tool for me, but Durofix encourages honest reviews, and this is exactly that. They didn't ask me to switch to their G12 platform. I did that on my own after seeing it in action. The cutoff tool is smaller, lighter, and more powerful than my old one. So a massive thumbs up, Durofix. Now, where's that Persia? Now let's take a look at my old and new hammer drills. Of course, I kept the Parkside Performance model I reviewed way back in 2024, but as you can see, it's a bit bulkier compared to the Durofix, and I never really cared much for the removable chuck on the Parkside. Meanwhile, the Durofix is smaller, feels better built, and actually has 5 Nm more torque. Furthermore, when the Durofix goes on sale, the price difference between these two becomes dangerously small. Now, let's do a bit of testing to see if I made the right switch. First, let's get a feel for how they behave in metal. Starting with a 3mm drill bit, both tools are on speed 2 and running fully charged batteries. The Durofix makes use of a 2Ah pack, while the Parkside is using the 2.5Ah Parkside Performance battery. And with such a small drill bit, there are no surprises. Both drills go through the material without any issues. Now, moving on to a 5mm metal drill bit, and again, both drills get the job done. However, I did notice something when pressing down on them. The Parkside, possibly due to its removable chuck, flexed a bit under pressure. The Durofix, on the other hand, didn't flex at all. It's really nice to see how well built the Durofix is, considering how compact it is. Now, for the 6mm drill bit, I applied as much pressure as I reasonably could, and the Durofix still didn't deform or flex at all. Then I moved on to the largest drill bit of the day, an 8mm, still in speed 2. And keep in mind, this is a thick metal plate. The Durofix wanted to power through it even in speed 2, but that would have completely destroyed the drill bit. So I had to stop occasionally to add some cutting oil. So realistically, for larger drill bits, speed 1 is the way to go. With the increased torque in speed 1, both tools can handle it just fine. And with this being a 3/8" chuck, I think it's safe to say that the Durofix can handle pretty much any drill bit that you can fit in there. Next, I switched back to speed 2 to drive some screws. And well, to no one's surprise, it faced no issues at all. But once I moved on to 8x120mm screws, speed 1 became, well, necessary. And once in speed 1, we drove them in without hesitation. Then I, well, decided to have a little fun. Basically a race between the Parkside and the Durofix. Keep in mind that the Durofix is down 1 bar of battery and using a smaller capacity pack. Both drills in speed 2, and let's go. Not the most scientific test, but hey, I never claimed it would be. After that, I threw everything I could at the Durofix. The Durofix even handled a 35mm spade bit in Speed 2. In softwood, this thing feels unstoppable. For such a small hammer drill, it's extremely capable. And remember, I'm using it with the smallest battery they offer because I prefer the reduced size and weight. However, if you buy it as a kit, it will likely come with a 4Ah battery and even more power. Now, let's check out the hammer mode. And just to be clear, hammer mode on a standard drill is meant for masonry and not reinforced concrete. If you want to conquer concrete, you need a rotary hammer drill, which is a completely different tool. But for its intended purpose, even a 10mm masonry drill bit is no problem for the Durofix. Now, do let me know in the comments what you think about these two tools. As for me, you probably already know what I said in my last Durofix video. Well, this has become my go-to toolset. I don't just review these tools, I actually use them. And I'll try to do a long-term review at some point as well. And I also have a message for Durofix. Hi there. If you keep this up, I'll need a bigger tool bag. Thanks for watching, I hope you found the video interesting and useful. And if you want to support the channel, just press some of those buttons below. I'm sure you know which ones.